Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Phil and welcome to Expo Aviation. Our flight today is with Virgin Atlantic from New York's Kennedy Airport, and we'll once again be travelling on board a Boeing 747-400 in the premium economy cabin. Our journey began at our hotel in Midtown Manhattan, where our private sedan transfer collected us and whisked us to the airport. Well, I use the term whisked rather loosely, considering New York's traffic. The transfer had been arranged as part of our Virgin Holidays package and worked out at £50 for a round trip, well worth it in my opinion. As we are travelling in premium economy, we were able to check in using the dedicated check-in desks for both upper class and premium economy passengers, and thus were able to check in within minutes of our arrival. We were asked if we wanted to upgrade to the upper class cabin, however it was still a bit out of our price range. As premium economy passengers, we were able to use the priority lines at the security screening point, although due to a bit of a farce, our line actually moved slower than a regular one, though that's not exactly the airline's fault. Terminal 4 is rather big and does have a lot of shops and food and drink outlets. Fortunately, there are plenty of terminal maps on hand, so it made finding our way to the gate area much easier. After securing some window seats at a bar, we had an hour or so to wait before boarding, so we had a couple of beers and watched the planes outside before heading back to our gate. Unbeknownst to us, our gate had been changed, so you can imagine my surprise when we arrived at our gate to see a KLM 747 parked up. A quick check of the screens pointed us in the right direction. The gate staff announced that boarding would be delayed by 10 minutes as the crew had only recently arrived and needed time to prepare the aircraft. Once again, as premium economy passengers, we were able to use the priority boarding line, and we were stood at the front of the queue when they announced that passengers travelling with small children could board first. This unleashed chaos, as anyone with someone under 18 years old was considered small. This was then abused by others who didn't have any children and used it as an excuse to jump in. Our flight today was on Ruby Tuesday, a Boeing 747-400 delivered new to Virgin in September 1998, making this girl 20 years old. Well, a couple of weeks shy of 20 at the time of our flight in August. She was, however, the oldest aircraft in the Virgin Atlantic fleet, and to be fair, she didn't seem to show it. We're once again in the upstairs cabin, aka the bubble, with 2+2 seating on the premium economy section, and the premium economy seats offer a 38-inch pitch. They're nearly 4 inches wider than the standard economy seat too. A bonus of being up top is the extra storage space between the window seat and the window due to the curvature of the fuselage. This offers a great place to put a drink during the flight rather than using a tray table, giving you even more space. As I discovered on the outbound flight, the distance between the window seat and the window does present a challenge for anyone wishing to video their takeoff or landing. One thing that I hadn't considered, however, was the effect of the curvature of the fuselage when wet. There had been a small shower at Kennedy before boarding, and had we been sat in the main deck, the rainwater would have rolled off the window due to the shape of the fuselage. In the bubble, however, the window tilts inboard and allows rainwater to settle on it, making it impossible to film during taxi and most of the takeoff roll. Once again, we're provided with a pillow and blanket, and as this was a night flight, we were given an amenity kit, which contained toothpaste and toothbrush, a pen, eye mask and some socks. The kit was provided by Herschel, and was a welcome touch. We were once again offered a pre-departure drink of juice or Prosecco, opting again for the Prosecco and rather cheekily asked for a second one after everyone in our cabin had theirs. Our menu was handed out prior to pushback, giving us time to decide on what we shall have. The starter was tomato and mozzarella salad. The choice of main courses were pulled pork and mustard mash or butter chicken in cream sauce. The vegetarian option was farfalle pasta and pesto in cream sauce, with a passion fruit cheesecake for dessert. A drink service was provided shortly after takeoff. I opted for a beer, with my fiancée having a spirit and mixer. Once the bar service had been completed, it was time for the cabin crew to conduct the meal service. I had the pulled pork with mustard mash, which was again complemented by a bottle of wine and a mug of tea in one of those fancy aviation-themed china mugs. I really had to resist the urge to pinch one. Following on from the meal service, there was a second drink service, and then the lights were switched off to allow folks to sleep. I would stay awake and enjoy the in-flight entertainment, which despite having a good selection of films and TV programmes, I must admit, I did end up watching Ocean's 11 again, just to get myself in the mood for my upcoming Vegas trip. The TV is an average size and located in the back of the seat in front, and is controlled by either a touchscreen or the controller mounted beneath it. The controller can be used to control the TV as well as a selection of games including Battleship, Solitaire and Golf. It is also used for sending messages to other seats on the aircraft, or in my case, it was used as a moving map, allowing me to track our progress while still watching the entertainment. 2 USB ports are provided along with an AV port. You may find that charging by USB is painfully slow, but it is still handy just for giving your phone a slight boost. The headsets provided are pretty basic. They are the same as the economy class ones and are not noise cancelling. However, if you are up top, the only noise is from the wind outside. The headphones are comfortable though, even on a longer flight, and are certainly a higher quality than the cheap pod type available on other carriers. As dawn broke, a light breakfast was served which consisted of a croissant, yoghurt and some fruit, along with another cup of tea. I had hoped that we would be routed over my house near Wigan, however our routing took us further north with us coming in from over Cumbria and into Lancashire, over Rossendale and finally Stockport, before landing back at a chilly but pleasant Manchester airport. This bit is out of the airline's control. However, I was less than impressed that Manchester Airport had a dedicated customs and immigration queue for groups with children under 12. Despite our suitcases being labelled as priority, they also came out last, nearly an hour after landing, and to top it off, there was a problem with the railway, meaning that almost all of the trains from the airport were cancelled. The staff at the station were giving out incorrect information to boot. It was only because of my quick thinking that we managed to jump on the one train that did run, though it almost took us as much time to get home from Manchester Airport than it did to fly there from New York. I'm not kidding. It took 5 hours and 50 minutes to fly back from the States and nearly 4.5 hours to get home. That lies with Arriva Trains Northern and not the airline, but I thought you might find it amusing. To sum up, I was again very pleased with my premium economy experience with Virgin Atlantic. The upper deck of a 747 is much quieter than downstairs, and on a night flight this will certainly help folks sleep. The seats are comfortable and do offer a fair amount of recline. As the upper deck is split between premium economy and economy seating, the lavatories at the front of this cabin are shared, which results in folks from the rear coming through. Even though this was a night flight, there was very little disturbance, as the aisle is considerably wider, meaning that only the clumsiest of passengers should disturb someone in an aisle seat. The food was once again excellent and presented well, and the selection on offer was great. As I said in my previous report, Virgin advertise a Wonder Wall, where one can venture over to a designated spot in the cabin to help themselves to snacks and drinks, but this isn't available on the 747 fleet, which is a big disappointment. The priority check-in and security lines were certainly appreciated at Kennedy Airport. My biggest issue was the way priority passengers were disregarded at the gate area when the staff announced to pre-board families with small children. It seemed that anyone under 18 qualified as a small child, and at least 50 passengers passed through, and then it was further abused by others who didn't even have children with them. I can understand that pre-boarding youngsters can be a good thing, but if this had been an Orlando flight, then surely 80% of the passengers would have qualified. All round it was a great experience. The crew on this flight were very friendly, even before I'd revealed my past flying career. I would certainly book to travel premium economy with Virgin Atlantic again, cost permitting of course. The Manchester to New York route has switched back to an Airbus A330, so that is worth bearing in mind if you're trying to get a flight on the Queen of the Skies before she is retired. Thanks for watching, and let me know your thoughts on this video. Check back for future trip reports and other aviation related videos.